Doing some warm-up sets. Just added these. Just did a warm-up with these. Just getting a feel. Not sure how heavy I could go today. You never really know, you know what I mean, until you're into it. And you're like, okay, I can go extra heavy, you know. So I like to come up towards the pinky and ring finger side when I do these. It's only like 40 pounds, so getting a pretty decent pump off of that. Weights jiggling around, make it feel a little bit heavier than what it would normally feel like sometimes. So I just try not to spin the weights too much, or the handle anyways. When I was young, I really messed up this side, not just the shoulder, but then the wrist at one point. It's real crazy. So the left, I didn't know was weaker when I was like 14 at the gym doing dumbbell presses. I think I on the final set at like 40s and trying to get that last rep up. The left arm, it just pendulum backwards. It is definitely not the same anymore. I can guarantee you that. Not even close. It never recovered. And a lot of times that shoulder just goes out. And it goes out for a while. I was doing a lot of heavier stuff when I first started training like 10 years ago. Well, actually 20 years ago, I think. Close to that. And it was my first year training. I think it was like 25 because I didn't go back to the gym at all for years until I was 25. So I did I basically was just doing like Ronnie Coleman's training, and then after, was it 8 months, I did a 360 bench for 2 reps. So I've always been good at being able to get strong really quickly. I don't have like a thick bone frame, built more like a Larry Wheels actually, but the hairy version. So hairy Wheels, coining that before anybody gets a chance to do that, because you know how it works in this world. But I haven't actually been to gym in probably 8 years now. So, and I never trained forearms either. I just didn't really use straps for back. Maybe with 4 plates on the barbell rows, I would use straps. That's usually about it, though. Just getting some good warm-ups, squeezing, you know. The real trick to working the forearms when you're doing anything, even the curls, is how hard you're squeezing the handle. You want to squeeze it really hard. That's what's going to give you the best workout, give you the best results as well. You're going to burn up pretty quick, like a lot quicker than you would if you weren't using such a hard grip, but that's what you want. You want to burn out fast until you stop burning out fast. That's that's the way that you have to do that. So since we're new to forearm training, go. I don't know if I'm going to max out. I rarely do that. And I'm wondering if I should do that more often. Okay. That felt alright. That's pretty good. Felt kind of weird in my forearm. I could probably use more weight though. Let's try going pretty heavy. Got the camera rolling, so we might as well give it a shot. About 80. Got about 80 pounds on there now. So that should work out pretty well. There we go. It's good to go. I'll go heavy and probably drop, I don't know, 30 pounds, and then just rep out from there, more than likely. So it's good to kind of go as heavy as you can whenever you can. So it should be interesting to see how heavy that feels. I'll do wrist curls with that too. 8.5 hour. It swings around too, which really creates a trippy feel. So definitely got to get more involved with some of the heavier weights now. Because I'm always getting a good pump, which builds really good size. So I've been focusing a little bit way more on that than like the strength aspect. But I've also had a pump product, so the pump can kind of negatively affect the performance of your forearms, like any type of pump. But I feel that that's good when you're just training by yourself with weights. I feel the pump stuff's a good way to replicate high intensity because it's really just increasing the intensity of the workout. Um, and when you're on the table, that's when the intensity is the most. You're exerting tons of effort, and you're just spending a lot of time. You're holding, you're hooking, you're trying to top roll. So you're doing these types of things. And the thing with a forearm workout, in my opinion, depending on where you are at in your training, if you're doing a lot of table, I would probably stick with just heavier stuff, I would just go pretty heavy. Keep it like 6 reps, where that 6 rep you're fighting. And it takes everything you have to get that 6th rep. That's what you want to do. That's what's really important. Because that battle, I always call it like the battle rep, is where you're going to develop your ability to have a longer match if necessary. Uh, do a lot of like king's moves if that's the only thing you can do against a certain opponent. You're just hanging on for dear life off the edge of the table or whatever, the under tabler. And so I would probably just stick with like heavier stuff. And then like if you're not doing a lot of table, you probably want to stick with slightly higher reps, but also lifting weights in a way to where you're putting yourself in a very like messed up, compromised position where you're battling against somebody and you got to try to get that weight back up. And so I always believe in like deficit training when it comes to arm wrestling and training with an arm almost pinned and trying to get the weight up instead of starting all the way up here, because that's where every match is going to end. Always starts there anyways. So when you do a match, you're going to be used to that. You're going to get, when you practice on the table, you get used to that. But compromised positions, depending on who you're practicing against, you might not end up in those at all. You might be that much stronger, that much better, or they're that much stronger and better, and they're just pinning you, and there's nothing you can do. So deficit training with a compromised position, that should do some wonders. That would help. The reason why I do that at the end like that is because I'm trying to replicate the pressure of being locked up with somebody. You know what I mean? Here we go. About 80 pounds right there, 75 something along those lines. So pretty decent. First time we've attempted that much weight, so I won't go that heavy, and I'll just rep out because that pump feels really good, and you really want that pump. When it comes to like the strength, I focused on the bicep primarily. So just gonna pump now.